All right, what's up, everyone? We are back to another episode of Gino Thanks, and I brought back Joey, Albert
What's
J.
poppin'? Thanks for having me again, Gino Bino. You're the man. You're the
Yeah,
god.
definitely. Nah, you're the man. You're the man. I feel like you know a lot about like the stuff that I want to talk about, so I'm glad to have you on the show to give your input. I feel like you actually contribute a lot, and I really thank you for being a guest on here.
Dude, thank you. The same. You know I love podcasts and shit, so hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's. I know we're like way late on this because this happened last week, and we record on like Sundays. Well, today's Monday, we were late. But
hmm
that Breonna Taylor case, the verdict. That
R.I.P.
was,
to Breonna Taylor, man. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, definitely. Rest in peace. No, I mean it was definitely a bullshit wanton endangerment. Like, what the fuck is that? I feel like they made that shit up that day. No one knew what the fuck that. I've never heard of that.
I literally read it, no bullshit, and it's gonna sound culturally like stupid of me, but I thought it had something to do with wonton like soup or some shit when I when I read that.
No,
But like um to go on what you were saying, that was just that was a really hard blow to what's been going on. So there's a lot of rage and sadness circling that entire case. So.
I just wonder, like, first of all, I don't know if this is true or not. I heard that the wanton endangerment was for the cops shooting the neighbor's wall,
Sure. It's
and
it's it's a
it was,
it's the
but it
collateral
was
damage.
right. But the neighbors next to her are the ones that they were counting, but not the ones above
Mhm.
her, supposedly, and that's I read online that it's because the neighbors above her were black, so they didn't care about them. It was like the white people next door that's why they really gave that uh gave him that charge.
I mean, are you surprised? Like I like everything that's been happening
Well,
and shit.
oh, here's I definitely wasn't surprised first of all because they were fucking wrapping the whole city in saran wrap and shit the night
hmm
before, weren't they? It's like they
hmm
knew what was up. From
hmm
from that point you knew what the verdict was going to be, but also the fact that didn't they receive a settlement too, Breonna Taylor's family?
I think the settlement is again, I don't know what the logistics of what the actual settlement was for. From what I understand, when there is a wrongful death, though, the city is supposed to, grant a settlement to the family or the next of kin, at least.
Like regardless of
Um,
what comes from the trial.
right, because I mean, I think that was a civil suit. Honestly, I think that was a civil suit against the actual city, because I think they admitted within, you know, that hush money, more or less, that there was wrongdoing and that they didn't want to pursue a case further with that. But the district attorney, I forget his name, he's the black guy. Um, he made a really fucked up speech and kind of just um, more or less acquitted the cops of any wrongdoing or any accountability in any possible thing. I mean, if you, I can to objectively look at this case from a but if you have to acquit the cops and stuff, you have to prosecute wrongful death, at least manslaughter or you know um, conspiracy to cover up and second degree murder of the people who ordered that entire thing to happen in the first place. The the official who signed off on that warrant when
I'm confused about what the point of a no knock warrant is. Like,
they do well. It's abolished now, and that's because of this case. But it was more so to protect. It was a shock and awe procedure to catch people in the act and to not
to
give them
set
the time
people
to
up, like
not give them
that's
the time to flush or get rid of evidence and stuff. That's really
it,
all that
I mean,
is.
that being said, like I feel like it's just a loophole because they could say anything happened during that time. Like I
Absolutely.
if if it just was abolished now, I feel like that means it's probably been around since before there were body cameras. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So like,
No, no,
what
no.
did they
Like,
do?
this is a gross uh, injustice and miscarriage of power. And there's, another person has died with impunity now. And we see that that's a trend. Um, the funny thing about this is they had the person in custody that they wanted to actually find in the act of doing stuff hours before this warrant was even put out. And, there's no like repercussions for that. And I think that's the biggest thing, and why these protests and why this social uproar is going to continue to happen, because, there's no accountability. There's no, nobody has to pay for somebody's death. And, it's the citizens of, Kentucky who are paying for the death of Breonna Taylor. It's not even the department, like the people who signed the warrants and the people who got somebody killed. It's also an open carry state, and that person was well within the right to fire at somebody who was knocking their door down at 12 a.m. in the morning. Like,
And that's what I'm saying. It's like all the people that have excuses like, oh well, they were shooting back, blah blah blah, or they shot first. Regardless of that, like everyone has a right to protect their home, right? So I don't understand.
Absolutely.
Those are the same people that are like, oh, I want to keep my guns in case the government tries to overthrow us and shit. And
Absolutely.
that's like exactly what's happening right there, basically. So I
If
don't
somebody
understand
came
how.
into somebody's house and they shot them, they would advocate that. But because it's a black man shooting at a police officer, you now have polarizing figures doing that. So now their baseline of logic changes. It's no longer somebody protecting their house and everything. It's now a black man shooting at a cop, even though the cop entered their premises and didn't knock and didn't announce themselves. It's just, I I said it, and it's exhausting, but we're gonna keep going. Um, this shit is gonna get a lot worse. I feel like, as far as these protests and the rioting and stuff. Um, we stand a really big chance of, in my humble opinion, seeing some kind of civil war or outcry or whatever,
I've
because
I've I've seen a couple clips on Facebook, but is it happening as big as it was like a few months ago, or is it just not being covered as much?
100%. I think there's a concerted effort to suppress this for political reasons. With an election coming up and everything, it's going to most certainly sway people's views of what the country is becoming. But at the same time, it's just this is reactionary. Like when you see and things keep happening of the same ilk, people only get fed up but so much, and then you have violence reoccur. But at the end of the day, rest in peace to Breonna Taylor, and my condolences to her family. And this is why a lot of people like myself are still marching, and in the face of these politicians and at these town hall meetings, and we're encouraging people to vote. Not even so much to vote for the president if you're like torn on that, but to do your research and vote locally and understand who is directly affecting you and impacting you, and where you can make a more poignant and impactful impact. I guess you gotta, we gotta keep going, because things like Breonna Taylor's death keep happening, and we can't have that.
That being said, but like, is it for example that the no knock warrants, is that something that is on a federal level though, right?
Right.
What are people, because like every state is different, so people don't know exactly what they're voting for when they vote locally. Like I don't vote in a local.
But you should, and that's the thing. And like, because it's more so your local officials and your those are the people who are directly affecting what you're living at. Like, it's I'm late to that train myself. I didn't realize how important local officials and stuff were until about 4 years ago, when I was voting in the 2016 administration, and voted for a few people locally and stuff based off of personal interests and things of that nature. But you know, I ended up understanding that I made a mistake, and I did that mostly because of what's been happening in the last 4 years, like with sorry, I'm getting like a random, I'm getting sent some stuff.
You're good.
So like in the last few years, like for instance, like we voted for I voted to have felons, have their voting rights and everything. But now those same felons are having to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars in order to regain those rights back. So it's like a loophole that they implemented that said, yeah, felons can, vote, but they have to pay in some cases up to $10,000 to have that voter access restored to them. So whereas we thought we were doing something noble for, felons, just for example, it ended up being that, it's another form of extortion and making it more difficult for felons to have basic rights. I mean, I don't know a lot of felons.
That's what I'm saying. That makes me not want. That makes me not want to vote still, because it's like you thought you were voting for the right thing. It turns out it was the wrong thing. I don't want to.
Right.
So that makes me not even want to participate at all, because I feel like everything is a trick. Everything is.
Well, you just got to know what to vote for and who's going for you. Like another loophole thing that was given for Florida and Hillsborough County in general was medical use of marijuana. And if you had medical use of marijuana and you had that actual medical card, you had to give up your Second Amendment right as a loophole for it. So then you couldn't have a gun or own a gun if you had a medical condition for your medical marijuana. It also it just got decriminalized, but before it just got decriminalized, I think less than a year ago, if you got caught with marijuana and you didn't have a medical card, it was now more of a penalty and a Schedule 3 felony because of the fact that you have something that's now prescription-based medicine and it's illegal outside of that. So now it's a whole different charge. You're now in possession of like narcotics and stuff.
This is in Florida?
Yeah. And that just changed where now it's decriminalized under 28 grams or basically an ounce. But, before that we were trying to vote, it was called Yes-on-2. Vote for, Amendment 2 to legalize medical marijuana and everything.
Yeah, no, so, I heard about that too, and that stopped me from getting a card because I mean I've never shot a gun or anything like that, but like in these times now, like I'm thinking I should get one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, you're not wrong. I was talking about that with my woman, the other day. I just got my driver's license back after not having it for a year and a half because of some crazy shit that happened with the cops and stuff. Like real dumb shit, like layers to it and everything. But like I just got it back. And now the next step is to get a gun because it's being shown more than ever because of the way we share media, just how dangerous some of these institutions that are set up to protect us are. And it's a lot of stuff is just crumbling right before us and stuff. And our main focus and objective is to protect ourselves and our family. So like, it's not a issue of if I want it or not. It's more of an issue of when the situation arises, do I have one to defend myself or not? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. And I think we got to start really, like you said, thinking about it, because I'm not a gun touter at all. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have one if somebody else has one. That's for damn sure.
But I don't know. Yeah, that's fucked up though, because then it's like that didn't really help in this case. So
it didn't.
It's kind of like a lose-lose situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but also like the fact I don't know because there's I don't know even with weed, like I feel like did you support like legalizing it?
I want full legalization, like recreational use, like they
You
have
do?
in Colorado. Yeah,
I mean
I want
the thing
not
with
just
that,
medical use.
yeah, of course. But the thing with that is like, have you noticed like a decline in the quality of weed like since it's been legalized places and
In
decriminalized?
some in some
Or is
places,
that
yes.
is that tolerance? Or is that tolerance?
It might be a mix of both. I don't know. I do think that taxation of marijuana has a lot of benefits on just the infrastructure and economy of wherever that place is where it's legal at at the baseline core of why it should be legal.
Right. But they're because of that fact, they're gonna mass produce it, and it's not gonna
Right.
be quality
You
anymore.
might be correct. I
I
mean,
feel
I
like
don't know.
I feel like that's happening. I really can't tell. Like I said, I don't know if it's my tolerance or what, but I feel like weed hasn't been the same since like 5 years ago.
I mean, I don't know for sure. You might be right. I'm smoking good right now, so like I don't I don't know for sure. I'm smoking on some lava, some fire. So I mean, that might be the case
You think
up
you
in
smoke more
DC.
than me though? I don't think so, but
I smoked a whole ounce last week by myself.
oh, all right, okay. You're
Like,
you're up there. We could
yeah,
you
we
know.
could smoke, bro. We used to smoke so much when I was around you, bro. It was ridiculous. It was
Exactly. That
so.
was way back. That was way back.
But
But
not yeah, like man, R.I.P. to Breonna Taylor. Um, I hope we can get some change done soon, so stuff like this can stop happening because this shit sucks. But aside from all that and everything, there's a heavyweight match that I didn't think was ever going to happen between Biden and Trump with the debate about to happen, dude. Like, I don't even care what the policies they're talking about is going to be about. I'm more excited to see the biggest roast battle of all time
that's what I'm saying.
occur.
I feel like I don't know. Trump has like TV experience.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
gonna do well on these debates. I feel like because
Right.
of that. Biden, like,
He's an entertainer.
yeah, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. So how come they're not? I don't know. They should suppress this somehow. Like they need to make it
I
even
think
for
so
them.
too. I think so too. I think Biden is going to get chewed up, man. I think like Trump is built for this kind of stuff to kind of bully and pick on the more squeamish candidate and everything, and less about defense. I think the only way Biden has a chance of standing a chance against him is if he doesn't focus on trying to defend himself and just sticks to facts about what Trump is, and what's happened during his administration, because Trump is going to stab the hell out of him about, uh, his past and his, perceived pedophilia and his nastiness and all this shit and the 94 crime bill where he's
No, I
going
mean
to.
Biden can't bring up pedophilia without incriminating himself
Oh,
because
no,
there's a
no. I was
lot
saying
more.
Trump. I was saying Trump is going to say that about him.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
but
like,
I don't understand like the relevance of these like tax returns like that they just released. Are they,
um,
first of all, shouldn't he be arrested for like tax fraud or something, tax
100%.
evasion? They can't do that right now.
I don't know why they can't do that, and I think this is a testament to the power of what Trump has become you know in the U.S. He has no accountability, man. Like he's getting away with shit right in front of us that I guess he pays a lot of money for lawyers and for certain kinds of suppression, because that's clear tax evasion. Like he hasn't paid taxes legitimately for years,
I feel
and
like if anything, like we should look at it as like, oh well, if he can do that, then we should figure out the same loopholes he used and and do the same thing. I want to only pay 750 in taxes, like.
sure. I think, but you also have to have those resources in order to not do that. You know what I'm saying? Like to not be able to pay. You have to have some level of capital and responsibility. I feel like if you're only paying that much in taxes, you have a lot of things that are tax write-offs because you own businesses, and LLCs and things of that sort that you literally charge everything to, and you literally don't have to pay anything. And I mean, there's donation loopholes and stuff that make it so that people don't have to pay. I mean, there's some smart people in, what taxes are and stuff
So
for us.
are you saying there's a possibility that he legally only paid that much in taxes by those loopholes?
I'm gonna be real with you and say I don't necessarily know. I
Uh,
don't know for sure,
yeah, see,
but
that's what
I
I'm saying.
mean,
I'm confused as to like what it actually means because they're all reporting on it, but it kind of seems like it's a plan. Like it just happened to come out the day before the debates. You know what I'm saying? Like
right, right.
that's what seems weird about it because they've been talking
Yeah,
about it
man.
since before he got elected. They've been talking about these, and now finally we got him right. Like,
Right. I mean, yeah, dude, we're so jaded now because how the intent of what people are doing shit for. We don't know what's true anymore. So I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I know for a fact that no other president has gotten away with the bullshit that Trump has, and to his credit, it's quite entertaining. Like it's if he wasn't the president, this would be the funniest ongoing reality series of all time. It's insane. Like he
I
just
mean,
goes ham.
that's what I was thinking when he first got elected, but like now
Yeah.
that I feel like I'm trying to figure out is it really like one person's fault about the whole like coronavirus thing because
Right.
they try to say Trump, that's the big phrase now, right? Trump
Hmm.
lied, 200,000 died. Is that propaganda right there or is
It's
that
not. It's true. It's very true. I mean, it's very like again, we have to now audit very, very plain and obvious things now because everybody's intent is so self-indulgent and stuff that it seems like everything's a smear campaign to make somebody else look better. But that's a fact that you know under his administration, this many people died. And we don't know how many people could have been saved, but we do know that he played it down for months. He didn't take it seriously. He did not, follow, actual virologists and doctors and scientists who warned him and he had on his team. He's the one who, stopped funding for, the CDC and things of this nature for a pandemic relief. Um, you
Oh yeah, the
know,
pandemic
yeah,
team or
like
whatever he fired them.
like he stopped funding for all that stuff. So those are actual facts that happened. Had those things not happened and had those things not been in place, we don't know what could have happened, but we do know for that there would have been probably not as many deaths. We wouldn't have been in such of an economic crisis as a result of the shutdown. If we had taken it a little bit more seriously and he had unified people instead of fought against it and everything, you could have seen a lot better results for people cumulatively. And that's something that's very much a fact. Like you got to focus on that. So, yeah, man. Like I don't. I mean, whatever. If those are put out just to smear him, like if those are true things, then how can it be a smear campaign? It's the truth.
I don't know because I feel like there's like before everyone always would say like, oh, the president's just a puppet, but now I feel like they're giving one man like too much credit. Like it was obviously, I don't know. I feel like I've always felt like they just needed him as the face of this, but there are other people that are really planning what's going on behind the scenes. It was always the plan to like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
To let
I
Corona
don't.
get as bad as it was.
Maybe that wasn't the exact plan,
Mm.
but I'm just saying like they. I it's hard to place the blame on like one person. That's all I'm saying. Because there's a lot of people that I don't know. How come we're not listening to the other? Because there are doctors that agree with Trump, right? Like,
I don't think so. I think he cherry picks and he'll get people to fit his narrative and then actively either ignores or just doesn't mention the people who are opposed to him or calls them fake news and stuff or just nasty people. It's just a lack of like engaging in any kind of accountability for what he is saying. Um, I
Yeah,
don't
you don't
think
incriminate yourself. He's like,
right,
dude, I don't know. I feel
right.
like he's obviously he's not fit for the job. He's just like trying to make it seem like any job.
Hmm.
Like when I was working at my last job, I'm not, when I was working at Red Lobster, I'm not a seafood expert. I gotta pretend
Right.
I'm a seafood expert. You know what I'm
You
saying?
got
Like
you got to finesse it. No, I agree.
exactly.
I understand that.
He
I,
doesn't know what he's doing, but it's like the people behind the scenes that's really, like
yeah.
they knew that coming into it.
Look, and when you're talking about, like one man shouldn't have that much power and all that stuff and everything and be that much to blame, like I see you're speaking of a utopian world and stuff. I don't believe one man should have that much power. I don't bank how much of my life is dependent on the opinions or whatever of some person. But unfortunately, there are hundreds of millions of people who do. And that would be probably true for anybody else except for quite possibly the most important person in the entire world or the most important position in the entire world. So if a person is playing down something that is deadly, I'm going to use my own common sense. You're probably going to use your own common sense. We have to understand that there are a lot of people who are not going to use that kind of common sense and are going to, especially if they support Trump, are going to literally agree with that and not take it as seriously. And I don't think, I agree with you. There shouldn't be full, um, you know, credit given to him for all these deaths and everything, but I do think there is a huge role that he plays in it. Like common sense, I guess, is not that common. So when the president says some shit like, "Hey, uh, maybe we can inject bleach and all this stuff," I know that that's not the right thing to do. I know that's pretty fucking dumb, but there was, a few dozen people who did that shit.
And like that's
You know
that
what I'm
I don't
saying?
know. It,
And
no, I was gonna say I like that you brought that up because that's like literally an example that I feel like made me kind of like think the other way about it because
right.
I remember that coming out and
Mm-hmm.
CNN was all over it talking about, oh, he told people to drink bleach or inject bleach, blah blah blah. I
Do the
listened to it.
UV lights in the lungs
That's
and all that
yeah,
stuff.
and that's not what he said.
Right.
And I feel like first of all, there is something. It's called like UV blood irrigation or something.
Absolutely. No, I know what he's talking about.
Exactly. So people that were making it seem like, oh, he wanted people to cut themselves open and lay out in the sun. That's ridiculous, right?
I don't
Like,
think that's it. I think he was saying put an actual light down into your lungs and use the UV thing to destroy the coronavirus and everything, which I didn't think was stupid. I'm not so much even talking about that. I'm more so talking about his actual saying, like, maybe there's a way we can inject that
he
into
said,
somebody?
he said disinfectant. Disinfectant can be because I read up on this around that same time. There's like you use vitamin C through an IV, and that's considered a disinfectant.
So you
He
think
didn't
he was
say
saying vitamin C?
I no, he obviously he didn't know what he was talking about. He had a piece of paper,
Okay.
right? He had his piece of paper, and the way he worded it, he was like, "Oh, and people can do bleach. Is that right? Yeah, people can do bleach."
Yeah,
He said
exactly.
he like was looking over for like
So,
someone to reconfirm that what
right.
he was saying was right. He didn't even know what he was saying was right, and
So
then
what
later
you
on,
do, so what
wait,
you
what?
do in a leadership role at that position of time is when you realize you do fuck up like that and everything, the next best thing to do after that is to apologize or to retract the statement. And there's none of that
You're right. You're
happening.
right.
And that's why that is dangerous. If you have such a statement where you're being misinterpreted like that, if that happens to be the case, retract it. Save some people's lives. Understand your impact and that people listen to you and take you, very, very seriously for everything that you say. And that is a huge issue. There's no accountability. There's no, hey, I was wrong about that shit. Don't do that. Maybe I said it the wrong way. Maybe you guys misinterpreted me and stuff. He just feels like he doesn't have to explain himself.
And that's what I'm saying.
So,
Like later on he did explain himself, saying that he was saying it sarcastically, and I don't think he knows what the word sarcastic means. But I get what he was saying, where he was saying it like he was almost like asking the question, like, oh, and then they can, like, he said it like his voice went up at the end as if it was a question, like, to
Right.
someone.
No, I know. And the media is gonna rip that shit apart every time. Like you have to know that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. You know, they just recently because a while ago when the Brandy and Monica versus was happening, I was going back on
Word.
Netflix and I was watching the old Moesha reruns.
Yeah.
And there's a scene on there where she like had her dad's credit card. She went shopping all day. She goes home and she's like, "Hey, I'm Alicia Trump."
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
like, that's funny that they
Yo,
released
people used to
this.
love Trump back in the day and stuff until
That's
he
what
was
I'm
the
saying.
president.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they used it as an easy target, but it's
Hmm.
like blinding us from what's really going on behind the scenes. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I don't know how much credence there is to it. Like, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of self-righteous and self-serving activities that are happening that are disguised as things that are meant for us to benefit from that really aren't serving us at all and everything. So, I'm jaded. I don't know really what to believe and everything. I want to, watch this. I want to watch 2020 play out like the rest of this. You know, this part 4 of this finale.
Yeah. 2020. Is it a season finale or a series finale?
I hope it's a series finale, bro. That shit is crazy. So we can be done with this craziness. But like, speaking of craziness, bro, like, I gotta say straight up, fuck Tory Lanez, bro.
Really?
Fuck Tory Lanez. I forgot what blog site said that shit. Like he said dance, bitch, and then shot at her.
Yeah, no. If you listen, I don't know if you
What
didn't
is this?
were
Yo,
you
like
looking up the lyrics or you like listened to the song?
no, like a literal blog site has some insider information that somebody there said Tory Lanez said dance, bitch, before he shot at the ground towards Meg the Stallion.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you listen to the song, he says something in the song that it's like, how did you get shot and it didn't hit bones or tendons? And so I feel like what he's trying to say is it like ricocheted. Is that a possibility? If you
Yo,
shoot the ground and it ricochets back
fuck
into your foot?
Tory Lanez. That bitch ass motherfucker was shooting at a woman and
Allegedly,
harmed her.
allegedly.
Nah, he did that shit. He did that shit. He
He
hasn't
was
even
shooting
denied
at the
it.
ground. He was shooting at the ground. He was
Oh my god.
it
Did you
happened to
shoot at the ground?
ricochet.
Are you trying to shoot this man bail for shooting at a woman?
No, I'm just
Don't
saying
you do
no. I don't think no. He's definitely fucked up. And it was
it.
definitely I don't know. I'm just saying how can you argue you were the one with a gun? There were bullet fragments in her foot. How can you argue anything else after
That
that?
man he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know she had bullet fragments in her foot. She might have. She just might not have released the details and
No,
stuff.
she had the pictures of the bullet fragments in her leg, in her foot.
Oh, so she had the pictures of it? Then what is he talking about?
No, no, she had bullet fragments in her foot, but it didn't hit any bones or tendons.
Oh,
And
okay.
so Megan was saying like, "Oh, I'm so lucky," blah blah blah. But
Why did he
Tory,
shoot at her in the first place?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm so
Yeah.
confused about because he doesn't even say it. He's just like, "We both know what happened." That sounds like some shit that you would say if you, you know what I'm saying? If you were guilty, I don't know.
I feel like he's guilty as shit. I feel like he tried to use this album as a means to profit financially off of negative attention which people are giving it. And I didn't give it any attention. I literally just went to his post and blew him up and called him a fuck boy and called him all types of names because I mean like you're a real lame, small ass Napoleon complex fuckboy
But
ass
see,
motherfucker
here's
for
why
shooting at a goddamn woman and then not saying anything about it and then putting an album out saying, I'm gonna let my music speak for me. Suck my dick, you
No,
bitch
but see,
ass
that's
nigga.
what I'm
Like,
saying. Just 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about 6ix9ine, you were talking about, oh yeah, his antics kind of overshadows his music.
yeah.
So that's why I felt like, and Cardi B going like, oh well, if you want to know all the gossip, go to my OnlyFans. Like
Right.
that's why I feel like I had to listen to it because he wasn't doing any of that. So what is that a better option than being like, oh, go check out my blog? Like, if you're an artist, shouldn't it be in your music that you talk about this stuff?
I think if you do some outlandish bullshit like that, you should definitely make a statement about it. I think that's not music related. I don't think that's music beef. I think that's literal legal indictment and fucked up human being shit that you kind of have to, have an obligation as a public figure to atone for. Especially if you've been so damn vocal in the past about every damn thing that you got going on. Like he crescented, quarantine radio and monetized a new way of, getting fans and engagement and all that stuff. He's always been in the news as far as rap beef and even R&B beef with motherfuckers. Like he every single now you don't. And you come out with music and almost like let me let this cool off for a second and then just drop some new music on y'all's heads. Like, no, bitch, you still haven't like literally came out and even said your side of what the story was and stuff. And
So you would,
somebody's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would have preferred that he did a Cardi B and was like, hey, if you want the info, go to my OnlyFans, or if he
I
started.
think you shouldn't tie somebody else's fucking pain like that. You shot at somebody. You could be in jail right now. I think you should definitely say something different. Like, how do you like? That's the thing. Like everybody's trying to monetize everybody else's pain and struggling and everything, and not understand that if she wanted to, she could probably press charges on this motherfucker and say that he shot at me and I was injured as a result.
Is it only up to her now, or is it because she made that statement on Instagram Live that they're going to start investigating, or is it?
I think they've been investigating it for a while. He's been told to be quiet by his lawyers and shit.
I'm saying if someone says flat out, "Oh, this person shot me," shouldn't that be like enough to arrest them? Should he be arrested?
I think so. I don't know why he isn't, to be honest with you. But I would love to. I would love.
That's what I'm saying. You're jumping on the Megan train, but you don't even know the story. There must be a reason why he hasn't been arrested. That's what I'm trying to say.
Look, man. It's not even about the arresting part of it because I've seen people get knocked out and or knock people out and they didn't get arrested and they probably should have. Hell,
shooting someone is different from knocking someone out.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've seen some people get away with shit. I know that people go to jail for bullshit all the time. I know people stay out of jail for bullshit all the time. I don't know what happened. I know that Tory Lanez had a gun in his hand and it shot at or in the direction of Meg Thee Stallion. And by one in a billion different scenarios, if you look at a billion different scenarios, there's not one of them that makes sense for him to have to do that or for him to want to do that in any context. And we keep forgetting that and everything. Everybody's trying to shoot him bail. Everybody's trying to look at certain scenarios about what could have happened. But there's literal reports of a gun going off in the direction of Meg Thee Stallion from the hands of Tory Lanez. And we know that for a fact. And we can't
from the hands or from the gun, because just because it's his gun doesn't mean someone else couldn't have grabbed it.
Man, he shot that woman. If he didn't shoot that woman, he would have came out and said he didn't shoot that woman or shoot.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Don't you think it's kind of like, because he also makes a good point in the song that I
didn't listen to any of the music, by the way, so I don't know any of the lyrics. Like he can.
It was like 80% about Megan Thee Stallion. I feel like. I don't know. There were some tracks that I skipped because I didn't like it, but like most of what I heard was like basically all about her. But I'm saying, what was I saying a second ago? Fuck, I don't know. I'm just because he says, don't you think it's kind of like weird that Megan Thee Stallion's talking on Instagram Live about all these, like, you know what I'm saying? If they're in the middle of investigating, why are you even saying anything on record right now? Save it for when you're gonna try to do something about it. Because that's what I'm saying. Is it really up to her? Is it just like, oh yeah, he shot me, so I want him arrested? Like,
I don't know.
Confused.
I know that there's a thin and a gray line that people are flirting with, especially in this context when it comes to legal stuff and things that are for show. But I do know that Megan was a victim in this entire thing. She's the one who ended up going to the hospital with a complaint that she was shot at or shot by somebody, and the culprit is Tory Lanez. And like, I don't know what's happening further. I can only look at it on if this was my daughter or if this was my sister or somebody close to me and they came to me and said somebody shot at or shot me. I can't look at any circumstance where that would be okay. And I don't, I feel like there's no accountability in any of this stuff. There's just a simple trying to monetize off of a situation.
All right. Like I like to play devil's advocate. All right.
Run it.
So this is not what I literally just came up with this in my head just now.
Go ahead.
What is stopping Megan Thee Stallion? Say they're hanging out, and Tory Lanez, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's not gonna shoot her. He wants to shoot at the glass just to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Because he's rich. He can shoot at windows all he wants because he can replace them. He doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? Megan Thee Stallion is like, oh shit, I see these bullet fragments on the ground that are right on top of these pieces of glass. So let me step on this glass and get this fragment stuck in my foot so I can say that there's bullets in my foot.
I don't know.
Is that a possibility?
I wouldn't go as so far to make that a possibility. I know that there's people there who saw everything that happened and were being interviewed. So
and are still not saying anything about like what really happened. That's what I'm saying. So
I think we'll find out in the future what actually did happen, because I don't think you can. This is such a high profile thing that there can't be any legal ramification. Like there can't not be any legal ramifications. I've never heard of a celebrity shooting another celebrity. Like I just haven't heard of it. Like I can recall as much as I want to. I've never heard of that. And I think regardless of the intent or whatever was behind it, I think there was recklessness. And even if he is rich and just wanted to shoot stuff and be like that, you can't just go like, why do you need to be shooting a gun inside of Kylie Jenner's residence?
They were like closer to Megan's house. They said they already left Kylie's.
Oh, okay. Then why do you have a gun if you're Tory Lanez? Like, why don't you have like?
Because he's short, so he feels like I don't know. You know what I mean?
I guess
that's what they say, right? It's like short.
I don't know.
Complex or something.
I mean, he's fitting the description, and that's some lame ass nigga shit. So like, if you fit 9 times out of 10, if you fit the description, that's you, bro. And like, everybody has selective morality. I'm very, very protective over, not only my women in my life, but just women in general. And I think that is, a very, very stringent point and, line has to be drawn when it comes to protecting, people who, have been protecting us. So we got to really have a baseline discussion about why the fact there was even that kind of recklessness around people like that for that to even happen. And there's still no accountability, because even within all the stuff that you've said about this album, you haven't said that there is any reason why he did that yet, or that he came clean about it. He just said, yeah, what happened. Like, suck my dick, Tory. Like, you a bitch ass
Yeah.
nigga for that shit, bro.
I
Like,
mean,
you a whole hoe for that shit.
because he knows that I mean, I feel like, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's smart that he just did it on an album where he's talking all this. He says in the album that um, like he doesn't want to talk like Megan is on live about the situation because it's going to be like an active investigation or something. I don't know what words he used, but basically something like that. But then he is talking about it in the song, so
Right,
he kind of like
right.
contradicts himself. But that's what I'm
100%.
saying. He knows that Megan's team, everyone is all about. I don't know. If you were, I just feel like with everything that's going on in the world, like no one is gonna argue with a female about anything, especially if it's, you know what I'm saying?
I don't
And
know. I feel you. 100%. I do feel you. I think like there's a huge like I've always looked at it like this when you're looking at cultural shit and everything. The one pendulum when you even out shit, it's a pendulum dropping from one side, and so it's gonna swing hard to the other side as far as like what's appropriate, and hopefully eventually it middles out and just falls in between. But like you know, um, one thing that's really stuck with me about this whole thing is the lack of defense that Tory has had for himself in these allegations. And um, even guilty people have defenses about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like in the world that we live in the context that we're in, if somebody is on social media with tens of millions of people looking at them, that influence alone, aside from what's lawfully correct or incorrect, is huge. And you have to be able to not only manipulate it in your favor, but manipulate it and tell the truth when it isn't in your favor. You're right. There is a very hot coal to step on uh, subject matter when it comes in defense of, women being victims and everything at the hands of men. I do agree with you on that, and I do think that on some level, with some cases, not all, not even a majority, it is overused, and I do think that the men have been uh, more or less forgotten as somewhat of victims in today's climate of shit at the hands of women too. I don't think this is one of those cases. I think that Tory is very, very um, little in this situation, whereas is avoiding accountability on his social platform for the things that he's done that don't paint him in the best of light. And he's trying to monetize it while trying to explain it, but not really explaining it. And I think that's whole ass shit. I mean, like, you can't, like, you really have to be real thorough with how you choose to engage and talk about what it is that's happening with you in that light. And like I said before, especially given Tory's outspoken past and history.
I mean, also, we spoke before about what makes good business people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, this possibly could, I mean, it could have been a good business move for Megan, right?
I don't know.
Because I mean, I don't know. Tory Lanez does say something else also that he says something like you would like do your friends over for $1 million or for millions. I don't know. So he made it seem like it was all about the money, and that's why she was gonna frame him for the. I don't know exactly how she gets money from that, but
Right.
that's what he was saying it was. And so if that is what it is,
Use your own logic, though. Like you're looking at somebody as Meg The Stallion, who's like a top 5 artist right now in the world. Like, what could she possibly want to gain from somebody by an implication like that in a money type of way?
I don't know. We talked about how Jay-Z has some shady business practices, and isn't she like run by Jay-Z now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be a something like behind the scenes that you know Tory
I
Lanez
can
management has going on with Megan Thee Stallion's management.
And if that's the case, then let's talk about it. But what we do know is that this man shot at somebody, and we can paint it however many pictures and stuff we want
He
to. But he
shot
did.
he shot at the ground and it ricocheted.
Are you
Is that
sure about
so?
that?
I feel like that's the only way. I mean, why else would he say that line? Like,
At the same
how did
time,
you
why
get
were you
shot?
shooting at the ground when Megan was with you? Why didn't you go to the hospital and help her out? Why didn't you like try to do anything? Why did you try and hush it up? Why did you try to send the money to not talk about all this stuff? Why was your publicist making a smear campaign against Meg Thee Stallion, which then forced her to go on live and defend herself against all these people who are basically shooting Tory
I didn't
Lanez
know
bail?
what were they
There
saying
was a
about
there was
Megan?
a there was a meme going around talking about and shared millions of times talking about
Oh, right,
Megan
I
Thee
remember
Stallion
now.
is 6'1" and he's 5'3". If that woman was beating up on him, he had every right to defend himself and all this shit. And everybody was trying to paint Megan Thee Stallion as an aggressive person who was now trying to play the victim after getting shot or shot at in context. And there was a smear campaign towards her after that. She got on fucking Instagram Live with no makeup on, looking like she'd been fucking crying and all this shit. You know how Megan Thee Stallion is always done up in looks? Like she's
You mean
like
like you know how good she is at makeup? You mean, and she can portray whatever she wants.
that
She
bitch
can.
just woke up. Looked like she looked terrible. Like, and I don't mean bitches and but you know what I'm saying. There's things that led up to that and everything, and the fact that Tory Lanez has been quiet the entire time about all that, within all these implications, and then has the gall, the actual ball sack, to put out a project, and to manipulate people within this time frame, and now the fucking
See,
shit is #1 on iTunes, right, or
but
on Apple Music right now, and
and,
it
and
makes
and
me
first of
sick.
all, that's fucked up that Apple Music isn't gonna try to blackball him when he has all these,
100%.
But
They
at the
like
same time, I'm
they
looking at it like
blackball.
this. Like I keep because I don't. I just feel like him not saying anything about it doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if anything, it's the opposite. What Megan is doing might make it seem like she's guilty. It's kind of like when you're at imagine you're at a Walmart or something, right? And you want to try to sue Walmart. So you have a water bottle and you spill some water on the floor and then you slip on it yourself, right? And then you're like, "Hey, everybody, look! You saw that Walmart made me slip, right? Everyone, look!" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That to me is like shows that you're the guilty one if you're trying so hard to like pinpoint. I don't. I'm not saying that's how I feel about this situation. I don't know what to think of the situation. I'm just saying it's not
Right.
outside of the realm of possibility.
You're right. It isn't outside of it. I tend to lean, from what I can view and what has been plainly shown to me in this scenario and stuff. And
Well, also you're biased because you tend to protect the women around you, so you're automatically gonna believe a
I'm not
woman.
biased. I'm not biased at all. I know that Tory Lanez isn't complaining that Meg Thee Stallion shot her. I know it's the other way around. If this was the other way around and somebody shot somebody in the foot or whatever, I'd be saying the exact same thing. You got to be accountable for what you're saying. Like it's not about it. Obviously, I'm protective of women and stuff, so it hits me double because the fact that there has been no explanation, nor has there been any even apology, nor has and on the other way around, I'm gonna lean into this on some Donald Trump shit and try and make some money off of it. You know what I'm saying? And really appeal to my core base without really, explaining or giving any real restitution to anybody else who might be looking at me like a fucking person who's a maniac who shoots at the ground or at somebody. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's not even about the let's protect the women shit. I was just saying that more so in the climate that we're in. At any point in time, when you have people worth 8 figures worth of salary each other, the fact that somebody can bring a gun into that setting and shoot at somebody actively is literally retarded. And if they did that, they have to be held accountable as a literally retarded person. Like it doesn't matter where you're like what the context is and stuff. Nobody should have had a gun in that entire context.
But also,
Nobody.
like, just talking. Did you see that Rick Ross said something like, "Oh, now's not the time." Like Tory Lanez, like this is totally inappropriate time to release this.
Yeah.
But at the
I
same
agree with
time, listen to this. The day after she got shot, Kylie Jenner posted a picture of her foot on Instagram. Is that an appropriate time to post a picture of a foot? You were just partying with these people and she got shot in the foot. This is your friend. They're still friends right now. So
what do you think? What do you think the reason? See, you're trying
they think it's funny. I think they all think it's a joke. Like
you're what see, this is why I'm going off of what's factual and what's not. And what I can plainly see is what people are saying. You're describing, you're trying to compare a what if scenario or implicative scenario with what somebody's actual intent and what they said was. You don't know why Kylie Jenner posted that thing. Nobody does know why she posted that foot, because she just did that. We know exactly why Rick Ross tweeted. He said that's some bullshit. You should. And that was very clean cut and straightforward. It wasn't like we don't have to wonder what the foot meant. It was, Tory, you a hoe for this shit. Like, and that's true. Can you without a shadow of a doubt tell exactly why she posted her foot?
Because of the foot, of Megan getting shot in the foot. That's the only reason why she would do it, I feel like.
You can confidently say that that's why that happened?
I mean, I don't think anything the Kardashians or the Jenners do is a coincidence.
Sure. I don't think so either. I don't think I mean they're not immune to monetizing people's tragedies either. They're not. I'm not.
That being said, how come it's okay? They're still friends.
That's the thing. There must be something else different about that as to why she must have posted the foot. Maybe she posted that foot, on the other hand, to bring attention to the fact that Megan Thee Stallion got shot in the foot and everything, and that more people might need to pay attention to this shit, because Kylie Jenner is pretty much the most popular person on Instagram ever. So it could be that way. Maybe because she was representing or defending her friend in that light. I don't know. There wasn't no laughing emojis on the foot. It was just a foot. So
it was her on vacation. Like, that seems weird. Why are you showing like a happy foot picture? I don't know. I'm just saying that when that first came out, that's what it made me immediately think that there's something else fishy going on with this story.
Right. No, I mean, like, I have no doubt that there are other things at work right now within this story. All I can go off is what we actually do know for a fact, and
but that's what I'm saying. You're trying to say that Tory Lanez, for a fact, shot her based on what Megan said.
I don't have any like retort against that. Not from the person who shot at it or was being accused. If somebody says I shot somebody and I have 20 million people watching me, I'm not going to go hide.
True.
I'm just not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to go do that. If I go hide, I look way more guilty and I look way more like I have stuff to hide. And then when I try and like put out art in the midst of all this shit while not explaining anything, now I'm trying to take advantage of it, especially if I haven't said anything for 3 whole fucking months. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Yeah,
bro.
I can't believe it's been that long ago. And
if you didn't shoot anybody, if you didn't shoot anybody, you wouldn't be losing all that money and losing all that momentum and all that stuff through Instagram and your social media and everything to stay quiet.
He was losing momentum before that, wasn't he?
I don't think so. Like, he just put out a Chicks tape, whatever, at the end of last year, and it still had momentum.
But
Like
that's what I'm saying. You say he doesn't. You say he lost his momentum, but he's number one on Apple.
he's number one on Apple right now because of this antic shit, and it's going to not be number one on Apple next week, and it's not going to be number one on Apple the following week. And I would dare say the only reason he's number one on Apple right now is because nobody else dropped anything on Friday.
True,
Like
true.
I'm not impressed by his number one shit. Like obviously people give attention to negative stuff as much as they do to positive stuff. It's, you know, it worked. It doesn't mean it's not nasty. It doesn't mean he didn't exploit it. It doesn't mean it wasn't like meant to, you know, exploit the fact that somebody else is in pain or somebody else might have perceived to be in pain for you to try and make art and money of it. If you really wanted to just put out some art and everything, demonetize all that shit and just put it out.
Oh, true, true. I see what you're saying.
You
But
know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna make $1 million off of this shit in the midst of him never really atoning for shit.
But if you had to get a lawyer now all of a sudden because of this, I'd be like, yeah, of course I'm gonna use this to pay for my lawyer. What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, hey, what to each their own. I didn't play into it. I didn't give him any support about that.
I'm just saying, like, don't you think it's still like, regardless of who you believe, like, it still would have been. Why is Megan not being quiet? Because you know what
she's
I'm saying,
defending
like,
herself.
she's not the one that was ever. I mean,
she was. She was the one who was made to be the aggressor and the person who was wrong in all this stuff. She was
and that's why.
very clearly made to be the person who was wrong in
Yeah,
all this.
you know who Adam 22 is?
Yeah.
I feel like that's who specifically she was talking about because I remember listening on his podcast and he was the one saying like, "Oh yeah, she was beating him up in the back seat, blah blah blah."
Right.
And I feel like that's what made her come on live and say that. But at the same time, you know, Megan did the same thing too. She came out with that freestyle on Instagram talking about the situation. So how come that wasn't I guess it wasn't an album,
Right.
but still, she was. I see what you're saying. She released it for free.
Right. Like she just gave it out and everything. She didn't try to monetize or try to make a spectacle out of some kind of like tragedy that happened. Like she was literally defending herself. There was no defense on this shit from what I hear from Tory, especially from you. It was all just justification. And I don't care about your justification. Like you shouldn't have done that. And at the end of the day, like you shouldn't have been in this situation to even do that. Like at what point do superstars understand that they're not supposed to be in some of these situations with guns and stuff so that they don't get put in these fucking, you know, controversial situations? Like I don't understand your logic or your meaning behind any of that stuff. Like we're all people. I get that, but when you have certain amounts of money, you have to move a certain way in order to stay out of the fucking way. And like I feel like that's being missed a whole lot right now. We saw that with fucking Tekashi. You can't fucking move anywhere right now because it's going to cost him $40,000 a week just to move anywhere.
That's why he's been quiet right now. I feel like he couldn't hire security this month, so he had to like lay low.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like when you have to, and he's actually doing the right thing. You shouldn't be out and putting yourself in these situations. If you have to carry a gun and you're worth over $10 million, you're an idiot. You're dumb. You're a fucking idiot if you have to carry a gun around and you're worth over $10 million. I would argue to say that if you're worth over $5 million, to be honest. Like you don't need to do that. You don't need to be in that situation. There does not call for a reason for that type of scenario to even have to be a thing.
But that's where you get to the like who can you trust at that point? If you at $5 million, you're always gonna have people that are around you and you can never really just be yourself.
I don't think anybody worth over $5 million has to move around armed. No, I don't think that. If you have to be in a place, particularly within, I think, either Meg Thee Stallion's residence or the Jenner's residence, and feel like you have to have a gun two things, because you're not getting into either one of those residences without there being levels of security and people already there. So two things: either have your security there if you don't feel safe, or don't go there. It's that simple. And like, we want to shoot bail for people protecting themselves. You didn't need a gun in that situation, Tory Lanez. If you were going to a party at any one of these people's house, that place was very, very, very protected and very, very, very like secured. Like there's no way that that's happening.
I don't know. You know, they say that like there's some conspiracy. I don't even want to get into it. Never mind. Let me shut. Let me stop right now.
Oh shit!
But you know, I'm just saying. Sometimes people might feel like they need extra security around some of these celebrities.
I guess so, man.
And some people don't always want a chaperone around all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like security or not, it's like someone watching over your shoulder all the time. Like
sure.
I don't know. I don't know how they balance it out. Like
I know that nobody else got shot at that night. I know no guy got shot at. He didn't have no beef with nobody except Megan Thee Stallion, apparently. He didn't need protection. That's what I'm saying. Like, the only person you end up shooting when you have a gun is a fucking woman that you're supposed with. Then you're like, what the hell?
So let me ask you this: how come Megan's friend isn't making any statements that was with her in the car?
Because she's probably waiting to sue their ass.
Exactly. If they're waiting, then how come Megan is so reckless and going on live? And why didn't she just wait until they sued?
Because I don't think Megan's trying to make money off of it. I think Megan's trying to defend herself, and I think anybody else who would make a statement off of that in that context is trying to make money off of it, or would not be making a statement in that context is trying to make money off of it. I feel like her friend is going to sue both of them for putting her in danger and having whatever is happening between them.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Now she has like twice the checks.
That's why she's not saying anything at all. Like, I wouldn't say anything if I was her at all.
Or like whether or not whoever wins, she's gonna get money from one of them.
Exactly. Like wait till that plays out and then say, well, this person put me in danger and stuff as well. So yeah, like anybody involved with that is not going to say anything who was a witness, because they stand to lose money, and that's why they haven't came out and said anything about that. And I don't think Megan, at her stature and her status, stands to gain any money from coming out and saying that stuff. I don't think it's reckless. I think it's an attempt at defending herself in the climate that she can right now.
But you see,
so
what I'm saying, you see what I'm saying though with my little scenarios that I made up, how it could be like a totally different side of the story that we don't know.
Yeah, definitely could be. There definitely is. I would love for Tory Lanez to come out and tell the truth, but I don't think he's ever going to do that.
Like, what do you think the truth could possibly be? That's what I want to know.
I want that 1 in a billion scenario for him to talk about that merited him needing a gun in that scenario and justifying it. Or I want him to come out.
That's what I'm saying. Well, what would that scenario be for you? And then what do you personally think really happened?
I think the only scenario that could justify Tory Lanez pulling out a gun and shooting it in the direction of Meg Thee Stallion would be if she was trying to physically hurt him to the point that there was implication of her taking his life. Like, she had to be coming at him with some kind of knife or sledgehammer or something that could literally fuck him up if it touched him, for him to justify that. And even then, after that, I feel like even after that, there would still be a statement made saying, hey, I understand what the hell this looks like. I know what the hell happened. This was in self-defense of this reason and everything. I don't condone violence on anybody. This is why I shot at the ground. This is why I shot at her foot. I wasn't trying to kill her.
Is self-defense, if for that to work, would it definitely have to have been that she also had a gun? Or
it would have
if she was if she was just like, if she really was just beating him up, that could still count as self-defense.
No, I mean,
She would have had to have a weapon too, right, to make it like even.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So then he knew that he didn't really have a defense, but he didn't want to sound like a bitch. Like, yeah, she was about to kill me with her fists. Like,
we didn't see any like she. Come on, man. Like, you think he was beating her up to the point where he said "dance, bitch," and then shot her?
I feel like you mean she was beating him? I feel like she could have been beating him up, and then she was like, all right, let's go. And then she left, and then that's when he shot at the ground, and then the bullet ricocheted. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I still think that's wrong at that point. That's a fragile ego at that point, to get your ass whipped by a woman and then go shoot at her. If anything, punch her.
True. Nah, because then that would be like that's a Chris Brown Rihanna situation.
Now you're in a way worse one. You shot at somebody.
True.
But I don't know, man. We gotta wrap this shit up because I gotta start getting ready to head out pretty soon and get myself ready.
My fault. So
no, one more topic.
I was just gonna ask you, like you said, this is the only thing that came out this week. But what came out last week? Did you listen to anything new? I've been listening to that. You listen to Moneybagg Yo and Black Youngster?
I listen to the Black Black Youngster joints. Yeah, like I like him a lot. Yeah,
definitely. I've been hearing those songs on the radio, so it's like they're like coming up, and that's weird because. Wait, which one? Black Youngster or Money or both?
Black Youngster. I like Black Youngster a lot. Like, Black Youngster is mad cool. Like, I just like his whole like energy, his whole swag and shit. Like, he's different. He brings a different kind of energy that I can't wait. Now that the clubs and shit are open, I can't wait to start hearing some of his new shit in the clubs and shit. I feel like that's gonna
be I forgot they're opening up.
Yeah,
I think he's funny. I watch a lot of his like clips on Instagram and stuff. He'll just be like, I don't know, he did like a backflip or something. And
like I was sharing this one shit of him. I remember I saw the backflip shit that you were talking about. He's an idiot, but like he was like jogging or something. He was like taping his workout and shit and just talking shit the entire time. It was like, it's just so funny. Like, he had that one clip where he was like hanging out the car, just shooting in the damn air. I think he was talking about or whatever and shit. Like, he's out there, man. But he's very, very entertaining. He makes really good music. So like, I fucks with him.
No, but I was gonna say, like, I think it's weird how Moneybagg Yo never spoke about Megan Thee Stallion, because weren't they together for a minute?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a situation where he's just trying to stay neutral and out of it and focus on all his shit.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, as far as like, if she, I just, because if they were to break up, you would expect one of them to be like talking shit. But I feel like he probably like did some shit to him too that was like, let me just not even.
Who did?
I feel like Moneybagg Yo like doesn't want to speak on his relationship with Megan Thee Stallion because she did some shit to him too. That's gonna make him look like a bitch if he says like, "Oh yeah, she would beat me up." But like, why wouldn't he say? That's what?
It's all speculative. We don't know that.
You're right. I'm making shit up. I'm just trying to make shit up.
You ain't making nothing up. I mean, like,
look. I want people to start talking on TMZ about stuff they heard on this show. So I'm coming up with any kind.
You're absolutely right. Let me go. Like, yeah, I'm not going to step on your scenarios or ideas anymore. Look, here's a scenario for you. They could have been drunk as shit. They could have been on shrooms, right? And they thought that there was a snake in the car. Right, so they pulled over.
I see.
Right, and in defense of Tory trying to help the snake from biting Meg, he shot at the ground to kill the snake. Right, but the bullet rookie.
That would
shade up.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. That scenario was too crazy.
Yeah, he shot the snake and then and that's why he was saying, what the fuck happened. So That might be a scenario too.
I feel like if they were to do that, he just try not to incriminate himself by saying we were on shrooms? Because I feel like at that point they're not going to care about that, right? Like,
Yeah, they ain't gonna give a shit about that. Like I don't know. Maybe they was on acid. Maybe they was on. They just smoked a Jeffrey like they did.
no,
On,
actually, you're right. That makes sense because I feel like Kylie Jenner probably has the good drugs at her place. They went there.
oh, bro, they was high and drunk as fuck. Whatever they were doing, they was fucked up, bro. They was on it. They was on one. I know they was trying to pet the furry carpet and felt like they were in a different dimension for sure. I have no doubt that they probably saw little gremlins around their feet and you know Tory was trying to defend them. Tory might be a hero right now. We need to start saying Tory is a hero. He might have shot some little monsters.
Wow, you totally like flipped the whole like.
Fuck that
I don't
nigga,
know. That's gonna be. I'm gonna start naming the podcast, and that's gonna be the title. Tory Lanez is a hero.
Tory Lanez. Straight up, bro. Nah, man.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say we do have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be covering these debates though, or are you?
No, I'm definitely down. I'm definitely down to cover them next week. I want to talk about some of this stuff. I want to focus more on some music stuff that comes out next week. Hopefully, some good music drops this week, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, man. Again, y'all can find me everywhere. Albert J Music 8113. And again, thank you for having me, bro.
No problem. Thanks for coming back. Yep, I'm gonna see you next week.
All right, bro.
See you. Thanks.
Peace.